Chapter 23, The War Against Yourself. Section 2, The Laws of Chaos. The laws of chaos can be brought to light, though never understood. Chaotic laws are hardly meaningful and therefore out of reason's sphere. Yet they appear to be an obstacle to reason and to truth. Let us then look upon them calmly, that we may look beyond them, understanding what they are, not what they would maintain. It is essential it be understood what they are for, because it's their purpose to make meaningless and to attack the truth. Here are the laws that rule the world you made, and yet they govern nothing and need not be broken, merely looked upon and gone beyond. That is how the laws of chaos starts. So it is established that they're not meaningful. It's established that they're not true. They're an obstacle to reason and to truth. So when you look at them and think, what does that mean? You can look upon that with the understanding it's meaningless, but it is something that is believed in this world. It is a foundational belief that maintains the world. The first chaotic law is that the truth is different for everyone, which contradicts, interferes with, violates the first principle of miracles. There's no hierarchy of illusions. If the truth is different for everyone, then there is a hierarchy. Illusions are different. It establishes different illusions can be true. The second law of chaos is that each one must sin and therefore deserves attack and death. So that establishes that an error calls for punishment, and God himself cannot overcome the sentence. So we sometimes talk about the worldly forgiveness where I condemn you and then I bestow upon you something you don't have unless I give it to you, forgiveness. But the second one is that each one of us must sin. The third one is that God must accept his son's belief in what he is and hate him for it. That one establishes that it's impossible to turn to God for help in misery now, because he's become the enemy who caused it. So I believe I'm a body. I believe I'm separate from God, and he himself has to accept what I have decided is the truth and be my enemy. The fourth law of chaos is that you have what you have taken. And it's easy to see how that plays out in the world, in the world of form. We both can't own, or hold in our hands the same thing. But on another level, the idea is that I took something from heaven when I turned my back on it. And now I have that thing and heaven doesn't. And so I have believed in separation, believed I tore heaven apart, tore oneness apart, and now I'm autonomous. I'm on my own. I'm in my mind, and I project out a world of separation based on the belief that I can be separate. I can take something and run away with it and be something different. So I project that out into the world, and then I see how that idea plays out over and over again and fragments endlessly. So you have what you are taken. You have what you have taken in the world is the idea that behind all of the faces of innocence is this idea that you have something that I want. You've got the thing that I want. And if you have it, then you must have stolen it from me, which comes from the deep-seated belief that I stole something. I took something and ran away with it. So what we do here is we hate each other. Deep down, everybody hates each other because they believe someone has taken something from them. So what is it? The fifth law of chaos. That leads to the fifth law of chaos. There's a substitute for love. Well, what is this priceless pearl we think we don't have, but somebody else has, and now we need to take it from them? And that is uh, the idea of salvation. So that is the thing that will cure all of our pain, justifies our murderous attacks on other people, psychologically or physically in any way, um, because we want what we believe they have. And so that is what we are trying to do with our lives. Our life's purpose is to find that salvation, something that will bring meaning to a meaningless life, something that will bring some peace and happiness to our life. We have to take it from each other because we believe each other stole it, because we believe we stole it from God. But we can never possess that. And so we never stop attacking each other. On some level, we form alliances here, but we look upon a world that is full of conflict and full of attack. We can't separate ourselves from it. We are a part of the picture we're looking at. So we believe that God's vengeance is going to come for us just the way we're trying to get things here from other people. We believe God's going to come and destroy us for what we took from him. So it's madness. Um, and he talks about the fact that the reversal of truth makes madness sanity, illusions true, attack a kindness, hatred love, and murder benediction. The goal the laws of chaos serve. So this alone, the laws of chaos, um, and the word, the obstacles to peace, those are worthy of week-long classrooms, at least 2 weeks, to really do a deep dive into how it plays out, what it means, how it plays out here, and how he perfectly describes the world we're living in and helps us to see that. So on its surface, it can be easy to dismiss these, but at some point we'll do that deeper dive where it becomes apparent. And maybe even it just resonates where you say, I know that must be true. I know that it must be true. And I do see it. It's difficult through our faces of innocence and the blinders we put on, the levels of our defenses that make us not want to see what's right in front of us and all of its gruesome, macabre nature. Um, but seeing that, seeing the gruesome, macabre nature of the world and what we do and what we believe others do, we believe there are others, and to believe in this world um, is the motivation to learn the course. So that is the reason why we go through. He takes us through this. Let me show you what you made because you're not looking upon it the way it really is. You're looking upon it the way you set it up, and seeing that will provide that motivation to learn the course and choose again. Why would anybody choose again if they didn't see they're living in a slaughterhouse that has no redeemable value in it? There is nothing here that's precious. There's nothing here that lasts. It all disintegrates. So this is not, an attempt to be depressing. It'd be depressing if he wasn't leading us to another place. I'm going to read one more part of this because this is really the briefest of overviews. Okay. There is no life outside of heaven. Where God created life, there life must be. In any state apart from heaven, life is illusion. At best, it seems like life, and at worst, like death. Yet both are judgments on what is not life. Those are the kinds of lines that we need to sit with. There is no life outside of heaven. Where God created life, there life must be. And you can feel a shift in reading that. What do you think and feel when you see that? That is saying there's no you. That's saying there's no me. That's saying that all of our beliefs are false. And when we take his hand, which is our only purpose here, to take his hand and let him lead us, that is what we're walking through. That is the terrifying, on some level, we're terrified at the idea that we could be so fundamentally wrong about everything. If we're not fundamentally wrong about everything, then the laws of chaos are the only truth in the universe. The laws of chaos govern all illusions. Their forms conflict, making it seem possible to value some above the other. So Lastly, I want to talk about really the whole point of me doing this is the last paragraph. But in order to get there, I'm going to start from the top of it. Brother, take not one step in the descent to hell. For having taken one, you will not recognize the rest for what they are, and they will follow. Attack in any form has placed your foot upon the twisted stairway that leads from heaven. Yet any instant it is possible to have all of this undone. Attack thoughts come at us seemingly without warning. It doesn't even seem like we're generating them. We are merely responding to the reality as we see it. I do not feel like I create my own attack thoughts. They pop up in what seems to be me acknowledging reality, but that is not the truth. Taking a step in the descent to hell is turning my back on the Holy Spirit thought system, joining with the ego thought system, and deciding that the world I see is all there is and everyone's guilty in it. So if I see something that I don't like, if I see someone injuring an animal or a child or an adult, if I see someone offering injury and hurting anyone psychologically or physically or emotionally, educationally, literally any way in which you could hurt somebody, I have attack thoughts in response. That's the way the dream's set up. That's the way the script is written. I will perceive attack outside of me, and then I will attack in response. So I'll never see that I made up the first attack, that I judged the script, the movie, the play, the dream as real, and I'll justify my attack. So peeling away those layers is what we need to do. No, my attack thoughts are created by me in response to what I see, but not because of what I see. I need attack thoughts to preserve my world. Without my attack thoughts, I will remember God and I will awaken from the dream. So I require other people so that I can be angry, hold grievances, attack them, see them as guilty, to hold the guilt from resting on me, hold off the guilt from resting on me, and never wake up. That's the ultimate goal. That is the purpose of them. It is not for whatever anybody else does. And whether I attack a body outside of mine or I attack my own body, it's exactly the same thing. It's all to preserve my identity and to maintain the belief that I'm a body and that God must accept my own estimation of what I am. He can never change it. And now we have to hate each other. And I have to die for my sins because I took something. I took life outside of heaven and made it my own that only I could have and nobody else could have this life of mine. They can't get into my head. They can't know what I am or who I am. So it's mine alone, this kingdom for me to rule in madness and despair. Attack in any form has placed your foot upon the twisted stairway that leads from heaven. Yet in any instant it is possible to have all this undone. How can you know whether you chose the stairs to heaven or the way to hell? Quite easily. How do you feel? Is peace in your awareness? Are you certain which way you go? And are you sure the goal of heaven can be reached? If not, you walk alone. Ask then your friend to join with you and give you certainty of where you go. That is why I wanted to talk about this today. That last line, ask then your friend to join with you and give you certainty of where you go. This is the most foundational piece of this course. We cannot do anything alone. It is impossible that we walk alone. We walk listening to our ego, or we walk with our friend who teaches us another way. And then silently, wordlessly, as we live our lives, we're teaching other people what we are. I'm teaching you whether I believe I'm an ego or I believe Jesus's message. Now, of course, we get into the conflicts of there are no others. Nobody's here. Nobody is in a dream. A dream is in the mind. You're not here. I'm not here. Understanding that and transcending the whole thing where all of it must go is the goal ultimately. Maybe it's today. But for now, we're talking about how do we move about in this world? We realize we never walk alone. It's impossible. We cannot be alone. That was the original error expressed in fragmentation, resulting in the projection of a world full of 8 billion individual people who walk alone. The understanding that it's impossible to be alone allows you to ask your friend to join with you and give you certainty of where you go. And it may be, I ask myself, how do I feel? Is peace in my awareness? No, it's not. Am I certain which way I go? No, I'm not. Am I sure the goal of heaven can be reached? No. He says, then I walk alone. If that is where I want to be in a moment, the only thing to do is say, I'm choosing this. Nothing is ever thrust upon us. Nothing is ever demanded. We just experience, we see things because we believe them. We believe them because we want them to be true. So we can say, I took a step into the descent from hell and I didn't recognize the rest for what they were. They followed. And now I'm attacking myself. I'm attacking other people. I see guilt in me. I see guilt in you. I see guilt in the world. That's how it goes. But our practice is as fast as we possibly can. We say, Jesus, join with me. Jesus, take my hand. And we will be transformed in that moment from someone who's totally, completely insane to a partially insane person. As you move along, the realizations, recognitions become more and more profound. You'll have experiences along the way. And then awaken from the dream when there is no longer any desire to be a thing that you are not, that I am not. Okay. I'm going to pause for a moment and come back. I'm going to close with a little prayer. And it's really about empathy and stepping aside and letting healing be done for you. It's in the chapter on the forgiveness of illusions, section 1, true empathy. He says, keep but one thought in mind and do not lose sight of it, however tempted you may be to judge any situation and to determine your response by judging it. Focus your mind only on this. I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past upon my guest. I have invited him, and he is here. I need do nothing except not to interfere.